VLOOKUP is one of those functions that looks complicated and is impressive when you can use it well. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to explain it from the ground up so that you can apply it to any use case that you need. And once you understand how to use it, you'll start using it more than you think, because it simplifies so many different things. It not only helps you sort and filter your data, it allows you to cross-reference that data against other sheets too. We're going to run through 3 examples designed to cover all the major use cases of the function. This will give you the understanding that you need to apply the function to virtually any problem that you face. First of all, we're going to quickly run through what VLOOKUP is used for, the 4 parameters it takes, and then we're going to dive straight into the examples. If you'd like to follow along, the example workbook is in the description below. Let's dive in. So what is VLOOKUP? Let's first take a look at what the VLOOKUP function is. Well, VLOOKUP actually stands for vertical lookup. It's a standard function within Excel that scours your spreadsheet vertically to find a specific piece of data. Or to put it a simpler way, it's a formula which can find the information that you're looking for. It will scan your sheet to find the information, which can then be cross-referenced with some other data. Using VLOOKUP, you can find that information immediately, without having to manually scan through all of the data, so it can save you a lot of time. It can seem quite a daunting function to use, as when you first look at a function, it can seem a little complicated. There's a set syntax that's required for the function to work, that you need to understand before you can use it. But it's much simpler than it looks. Here is the syntax. Now let's break that down piece by piece. The first parameter is the lookup value. This value refers to the value that you're searching for. So for example, if you're searching for a particular order number, you'd enter the cell coordinates that contains that information here. Next, we have the table array. This is where we're going to be looking for the data, which will be 2 or more columns. The first column will always be the place where it looks for your lookup value. Then we're on to the column index number, which is the column number that we want to extract the data from. So for example, if you wanted the order value of each of the orders that you selected in the search key section, and this figure was in the next column, you would enter 2, as the information that you want is in the second column. Finally, we have range lookup. This has to be either true or false, but most of the time it will be false. You would only enter true if the first column in the table array is sorted in ascending order. This would return the closest match to your lookup value. And if you, as you will in most cases, enter false here, the formula will only look for the exact match for your lookup value. If you're struggling a little bit to take that all in, don't worry. It will all start to fall into place now as we run through the examples using our fictional commercial bakery. You can follow along with exactly what we're doing here by clicking the link in the description below. Example 1. It's a stressful day in the office of our bakery, as one of our customers, Asda, has been in touch to say that they haven't received a number of orders that they've placed. They have provided a list of order numbers, so our team needs to get to the bottom of it and find out when each of them was shipped, so that they can speak to the usually reliable courier company. Going through the huge list of orders would take too long, so they decide to do a VLOOKUP to get the date that each of these orders were shipped. Let's help them out. First of all, we have a second tab called Missing Orders, which contains all of the orders that our customer has claimed are missing. A quick note here that VLOOKUP works between different sheets, so we can still reference the data on the Bakery Sales tab. We also have a status column here, where they are all marked as not received. For this example, we're going to be working in column C to add the date that they were shipped, and we'll create our VLOOKUP to enter that data. To do this, we'll first type equals VLOOKUP into cell 3 and open brackets to activate the function. The search key in this instance is the order number. That's the value that we need to look up, because we need the information that's attributed to this order. That information is in cell A2 on this sheet, so we can either type in A2 or just click on the cell we want to use. Next, we need the table array of cells that hold the information that we need. For that, we can head over to the Bakery Sales sheet and select all the columns. We only really need the date shipped column, but it doesn't hurt to select them all. As long as the order number is the first one, that's all that matters. Next, we need to enter the column index number. That's the column that we need to get the information from. In this case, that's the date shipped column, and that's the 4th column along, so we just need to type the number 4 here. Finally, the data isn't sorted, so we'll add false to the end of our formula. Then we hit enter, and all of a sudden, the date the order was shipped will appear in the cell we were working in. To fill this formula down the column, we just need to drag the square in the bottom right of the cell, and it will automatically fill it where we need it. And just like that, we have all the data we need for an argument with the courier company. For our second example, let's imagine that our bakery wants to add a bit more detail to their spreadsheet. They have the quantity of each order, but not the value. Rather than going down and working each one out for each individual product, they can do a VLOOKUP to automatically work out the value of each order based on the price of a product that has been ordered. To illustrate how to do this, we have created a new sheet called With Product Prices. But they wouldn't need to do this, they could just add it to the existing sheet. As you can see, we've added a small table with the prices of each product next to the main data. This is going to be our table array that we're going to use to add information to our spreadsheet. So let's create a couple of extra columns. First, a column that will display the unit price, and then one with the order value. Now we need to populate the unit price column using the VLOOKUP formula. So again, we'll start with equals VLOOKUP and open our brackets. Then we need to select our lookup value, which for this one will be our product. That's the key bit of information for which we need to get the price. So we'll select cell B2. Now we need the table array. So we'll select all of the data in our little table at the side, cells J3 to K9. Then we'll enter the number 2, as we want the information in the second column of our table array, the unit price. And finally, we just need to finish with false and hit enter, and our unit price will appear. So let's try to fill this down for the rest of the column. And as you can see, we've started to get an error. When I click on one of the cells with the error in it, it becomes clear how it has arisen. The table reference wasn't fixed and is moving down as we drag. To fix this, we just need to add a $sign before the row number to ensure that we're using the absolute cell reference. This will ensure it stays fixed as we drag. With that in place, we can just fill down so the formula goes to the bottom of our data. We can also do this by double-clicking the little square at the bottom right-hand corner of the cell. To fill the order value column, we need a simple formula, equals F2 times E2, or quantity purchased times the unit price. This will give us the order value. Fill that one to the bottom, and we've got the value of every order in a matter of seconds. It's as easy as that. One more thing I'd like to share with you here is wildcards. Let's say that one of our employees shortens red velvet cupcake to red velves. When we edit B2 to say red velve, we get an NA error, even though there's a partial match. To fix this, we can either call the cake by its full name, or we can use a wildcard. To add a wildcard, all we need to do is add an asterisk. So we'll edit our VLOOKUP formula to add the AND symbol, and then put the wildcard symbol in quotation marks. Now we can see that VLOOKUP will accept this partial match and return the result we want. And this is where the wildcard is useful. It can be useful for lists of names where people have only added their first names, but we still want to match them. Now for our third example, we're going to take a look at the first example again, but this time we're going to use XLOOKUP. This is to show that there are multiple ways of achieving the same result, and in some situations, XLOOKUP may be better suited to what we're trying to achieve. XLOOKUP was added to Excel in 2019 and can return values from multiple columns in one go, whereas VLOOKUP can only return a single value at a time. In many cases, you can use a single XLOOKUP where you would have needed to add multiple VLOOKUPs. So in our example, we need to switch out the column index number for a return array. And all that means is that we're going to switch our column number to an array. We also adjust our lookup array to a single column. And this means we can search both left and right, where VLOOKUP can only search to the right. And when we hit enter, we can see that we get the same result. With XLOOKUP, we can also add custom error handling. So let's change one of these order numbers to a random number that isn't on the list. We can see that it returns an NA error. But we have an optional parameter within XLOOKUP to handle this error. We're going to add order number not on list to the if not found parameter. And this time, instead of returning a vague error message, we've programmed the function to tell us exactly what the error is. So as you can see, using the VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP formulas is in no way as complicated as it might first look. Once you break it down into each section, it's really quite straightforward. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. We hope that we've given you everything that you need to start adding VLOOKUP formulas to your data in order to save yourself a lot of time and hassle. There are so many possibilities when you know how to use VLOOKUP, and we're sure you'll find plenty of opportunities to use this new skill. Please leave any comments below, especially if you have any areas of Excel you'd like us to cover in the future. And please do like the video if you found it helpful. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. And one more thing, if after watching this whole video you're still struggling with the problem that you're trying to work on, please put it in the comments below, and I'll try to get to it.